Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel Vigil, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
It is finally happening. It is finally happening that the competition is starting to dwindle down, and we are going to know who the starting QB is going to be sooner rather than later. I've got the notes. We got the recap from day 6. Whew. Let's get into it, everybody. Okay, starting with the quarterbacks. It happened. Today was supposed to be a Zach Wilson day, and as Sean Payton has done it every single time, it has gone Jarrett Stidham, Bo Nix, Zach Wilson. And that has been the lay of the land for the entire OTAs, entire minicamp, and entire training camp up until today. And of course, Sean Payton got asked about it, which we'll get into his responses here in just a quick second. But it was supposed to be Zach Wilson out there, but in fact, Jarrett Stidham was back out there with the ones. Bo Nix was out with the ones yesterday. So they skipped over Zach Wilson. And yeah, it's a crappy reality, but it's the truth, is that Zach Wilson's not in the competition. I was actually joking with Will Peterson earlier today, and I said, you know what? It really is a 50-50 quarterback battle, but that's between Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson to who's also going to be with Bo Nix in the other 50-50 quarterback battle. And it's Jarrett Stidham. And right now, Jarrett Stidham looks really dang good. But the response we get from Sean Payton when asked about how it's supposed to be Zach Wilson out there today, and it's not, well, I don't know if that gives you too much hope if you're a Zach Wilson fan.
We're still, look, we've got a plan. In today was yesterday. Bo ran with the ones, Zach with the twos. Today, Stiddy was with the ones, so no news to announce there. I know you're looking for it, but.
In fact, that is actually not the case because Zach Wilson did not run with the twos yesterday. Jarrett Stidham ran with the twos yesterday. So Sean Payton was wrong in that sense, whether he forgot or he was just trying to change the conversation. That's not an actual fact. It was, in fact, Jarrett Stidham yesterday with the twos and Bo Nix with the ones. Zach Wilson not with the ones again today. And when asked about it, like, hey, coach, are we going to see Zach Wilson with the ones? Here was his response.
We'll see. Yeah. But just like I said, there's nothing to announce.
We'll see. That's not giving you a whole lot of hope by any means. If it was he's still in it, we would have heard that from Sean Payton. But it's a we'll see, because even though Sean Payton won't say it, the quarterback battle has dwindled from 3 to 2. It is between Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix now. And I have to say, Jarrett Stidham looks like the guy. He looks really solid out there. Bo looks slightly young. The more and more we're seeing out of him, he just looks slightly young, but he's hungry. And that's what I want Broncos country to understand. He's super hungry. He definitely wants to get out there. You can tell he's always wanting to get better. I see him doing extra throws all the time on certain things. He looks hungry. He's not settling for that backup position. He talked about that when he spoke with the media on Saturday. Bo Nix is hungry, so do not let that worry you, Broncos country, even though it looks like Jarrett Stidham right now. If a game was tomorrow, I'd be putting Jarrett Stidham out there. He looks really, really good. One of the things I noticed was Zach Wilson, though, when it came down to him, just some of the accuracy things. He's got the strength in the arm. The dude can throw it. There's no doubt about that. But it's the accuracy as well. Even in just some short passing drills that they were doing, he was throwing it overboard for the receivers. I mean, even when the receivers literally were not moving, it was, a couple inches, a foot in front of them. And that's not what you really want to see when we're just doing a straight accuracy drill. You want it to be right in their hands, right there. And unfortunately, you saw Cortland Sutton having to really move his body. Same with Josh Reynolds and Tim Patrick as well. So Zach Wilson, it seems like to me, out of the mix, unless Sean Payton throws us for a loop tomorrow and all of a sudden he's back out there with them. I think we're down to our 2 quarterback battles. Okay, the other one that's going to be interesting is running back. And I think we're down to our running back room of who it's going to be. Now, who does that mean is getting cut? It was rumored Javonte Williams. They could look to move on. Do not worry, Broncos country. Javonte Williams, number 33, will be out there game 1. He will be your starter. Then it looks like it's going to be Jaleel McLaughlin. And I was actually talking with Cecil Lammey, and he was talking about how if you really pay attention to Jaleel, he's fast, but there's one thing about him that's a little concerning, is the second he gets hit, he's going down. There is none of this Javonte Williams carrying a couple guys on his back, running those extra yards after tackle. Seems like Jaleel immediately goes down, which is not good. It's not something that you want to see. But you know who doesn't do that? Audric Estime. Could he be coming in? Audric Estime looks really good. He looks really fast. He can maintain the speed even with pads on. It's been really fun to watch him. And you know what? He gets down, he puts his head down, and he is going to plow through some people. He's going to move people on him. And that was what excited so many people about Javonte Williams. And now we're seeing that with Audric Estime. It's been really cool. But I just named you 3 backs. One of them was not Samaje Perine. I think Samaje Perine, unfortunately, he's been a backup for so many years. I think his time here in the Mile High City has come to an end. I think your 3 backs are going to be Javonte Williams, your starter week 1, then Jaleel McLaughlin, and then you got Audric Estime, your 3 backs that can get out there. Can they be healthy? Can they maintain that? Hopefully. But otherwise, I feel like it looks really good. Could they, have a surprising factor and go 4? Yeah, they could. But when you come to the wide receiver room, man, there's so much talent on that wide receiver room that I just can't imagine them wanting to keep Samaje Perine around. Sean Payton talks about this all the time and how it is not about, beating just the guys on your team or in your room. It's about beating everybody else on the team, but also all around the NFL. And that's where there's so much depth in the wide receiver room that I feel like you're going to want to keep one of those special guys there over Samaje Perine. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I think that's going to be your starting 3 out there for the running back room. And I also think that Audric Estime, if needed, he can be out there for special teams too. And Blake Watson also in that mix as well. So just a little something for everybody right there. It's starting to dwindle down. Now I mentioned the wide receivers. Holy smokes. There is so much dang talent at the wide receiver position. And truthfully, I can't tell you the difference. I can tell you the difference between them, but I can't tell you who's leading who on any of them. It's crazy. Okay, I'm just going to list you off the names. I had to go to the depth chart because there's so many different names on this team that it's nearly impossible. You got Cortland Sutton, you got Tim Patrick, Brandon Johnson, Phil Dorsett, Josh Reynolds, Troy Franklin, Devon Vayle, Michael Bandy, Marvin Mims, Little Jordan Humphrey, Jalen Virgil, and David Still. They have a stacked wide receiver room, and they're all pretty much level on level. So it's kind of crazy to be able to sit here and I just don't know what Sean Payton's going to do. Going back and looking at the tape, everybody seems to be so good. I saw it was Vayle today who had a really nice contested catch. I thoroughly enjoyed watching his play. They were doing one-on-ones. Cortland Sutton also beating Pat Surtain on some of the one-on-ones. Just a little interesting. It was giving him a little bit of a hard time, which Cortland Sutton's one of those wide receivers that 50-50 ball, he's going to come down with it, but he's got to be able to extend the play. It's great that you can come down, but can you give us 1, 2, maybe 3 extra yards on that? That's what I'm looking forward to seeing Cortland Sutton do. And you know what? Cortland Sutton actually talked about one of the things a few things actually that he wants to improve upon as he, goes into this year. And he's a lot happier. He's a much happier Cortland Sutton than what we saw when he was trying to get that contract extension. Now, of course, the front office, they didn't give him the contract extension. They did, however, give him some incentives to say, hey, if you can do blankety blank, which we do not know the terms of it, then you can get another $1.5 million additional. So I feel like you have to be happy at that. And everybody's talking about, should Cortland Sutton be happy? And no, he shouldn't be. He should want the contract extension. But you also, if you're Cortland Sutton, you have to look around the building. There's a lot of guys that are on contract extension or are looking to get a contract extension right now. And they're all being like, I'm just happy to be a Denver Bronco. I want to be here. You can't become the diva in the situation. You have to look around and see what you're able to do and go from there. So do I think Cortland Sutton's as happy as he could be when he talked at the media and talked at the podium today? No, I don't think so. I think that was a little bit of a okay, just today's a good day type of thing. But I do think he understands and is reading the room of I can't become the diva because that's not going to help me. But he is looking to improve a few things. And one of those is making sure that he holds on to the ball.
Yesterday we went over turnovers. I think I had 3 with a 4th possible fumble last year. And, it's unacceptable. Anytime we have the ball in our hands, we've been told DGA, dreams, goals, and aspirations. You have everybody's, everyone in this building, in this organization's dreams in your hands. And, whether those turnovers, led to directly correlated to a loss for us, it was something that, for myself, I looked at it as unacceptable. And, just making sure that I make sure that doesn't become something that, that I don't have to worry about. It hasn't been something I have to worry about in the past, but it's something I definitely don't want to have to worry about after this past season. It's like playing and moving forward from it. Also, just some of route details, getting to my depth, making sure I have the right technique when I get to my depth, releases, all of those things, all the fine details that go into playing the position that we play, just fine tuning it.
Fine-tuning it indeed, and he looks really good. Courtland Sutton looks like he's out there. He's ready to ball, ready to get going. It's funny because you always look at these guys when they come to the podium and they're all big, they're all massive, right, standing next to you, and some of them you can literally see the veins that are popping out, and you're just like, holy crap, you guys are ready to go. You are pumped up. They're also sweating so much because it's hot outside. It was 100 degrees today out there when I got back in my car. Absolutely brutal, and they're out there obviously running through practices and stuff. So I'm excited for Courtland Sutton. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I'm happy and proud of the Broncos for not giving in to anything and saying, you know what, Court, you haven't done anything yet. Go out there and prove it, and hopefully he's able to put up those numbers. Another fun thing about today, we saw our first fights. Now, of course, who doesn't love when things get a little chippy? You've been out there for a few days, you're hot and heavy, and things are just getting a little good. So Elijah Garcia, who's a defensive lineman, and Sam Mustipher, who plays center, got into a little bit of a tiff out there at practice. And then we also saw Nate Atkins, who's a tight end, versus Darrell Nasimi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he's a linebacker, getting into another little tussle, of course, which is always really fun to see. And it's just one of those things that I think brings so much energy to practice. And if you're the fans that were right next to it, you were probably like, oh, what's happening? What's the crap talk that's been going on right now? And I just think it's really entertaining and it's fun. And I love when we see it. I hope we see some juice coming out when it comes to the Packers coming into town on the 16th of August. But what does the head coach think about it? That's kind of one of the questions, right? Does he care about the fights? Do we have a talk about it after practice? Well, Sean Payton was asked about it on Tuesday afternoon.
Hard to get back in this position.
When you have a little fight out there like you did, is that a positive? Is that
It's a scuffle. Sometimes it doesn't bother me. In that case, I think we'll look at the film. I think, one player gets blocked pretty well and frustrated. And so I don't want discipline fouls, and we've all seen it. So we talked a little bit about it afterwards, but the guys are working hard.
Well, I'm glad that they talk about it because obviously you don't want it to go a little too overboard, but at the exact same time, it is what it is. Let the guys fight. Like I said, they're tired, they're hot, they're out there fighting for a spot on this team. You get overrun, boom, you can be a little embarrassed, and it might come out with some anger. So, of course, has been really fun to watch. We'll see how many more fights happen. And I know that people love the fights just like I do. Last one for you before we get into what's really impressed me the most out of camp, but injury updates. So JFM was gone for a family matter. We pass along our condolences and sympathies to him and his family, as we believe it was a death in the family. Sean Payton kind of just quickly went over that one. And then Nick Bonito has been dealing with some back tightness and back pain. So he was gone from practice today, but Sean Payton did say that they would hopefully see him now today on Wednesday back out there. So just two little things right there. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that's impressed me the most so far, and it may not be sexy, it may not be exciting, but the Broncos ownership group has been out at practice every single day. When it's Kerry Penner and Greg Penner, they are out there in the heat, in their pants, sweating on the sidelines, watching every single down of practice that is happening. And that gives me so much hope and excitement that we are in the right hands, Broncos country. This is the right people to lead us to victory, to lead us to another Super Bowl. And I truthfully believe that. And I think the players believe that. I think the players are excited about once they retire too, they can always come back and it will be home. There's a lot that goes into this. And I mean, you guys, it is 100 degrees out there every single day. And to be standing out there, you got your water, you got your hat on, you're chit-chatting with people, you're not leaving practice early, you're not going out late. You are there for every single minute. They could be up on a patio in the, with an awning and everything, sitting in some chairs, watching practice from there in the building. And yet they are out there every single day, standing, watching, being close to the action. I have the utmost respect for everything that they have been doing with the Broncos. I haven't seen George Payton out there once, surprisingly, but I think it's really cool that we've seen ownership down there. And again, just one of those things where it feels so good. Obviously Pat Bowlen and his entire family, I know they loved the Broncos dearly, but for so many years there was no guidance, and now we finally have that guidance again, and it's with people who really care and they really do want to see the Broncos succeed and get a Super Bowl, and they have put money into this team. They have put money into the facilities. It is top notch. I was actually talking with Taylor Kilgore, if you know her from Fox 31 today, and she was talking about just the standard of the Denver Broncos, and everything that they do is held at such a high class, and that's not like that through everything in the league. And it's true, there's not a lot of leagues that will provide, child care for some of the families to be able to watch, or the coaches, or A+ facilities and wanting to get better. And we're seeing that with the Broncos day in and day out. And I'm a proud fan of Broncos country, and it's really exciting to see. So I hope that gives you a little bit of hope that they are in fact in the right hands, because it's really, really cool to see. But Zach Wilson, is he out? Is Sean Payton going to throw us, going on a whirlwind today for practice? I, of course, will let you guys know tomorrow and keep you updated on absolutely everything that is happening with the Denver Broncos. But I appreciate you guys for sticking around. I miss reading your comments live, so please, please, please keep them going. I absolutely love doing that. And otherwise, we will see you guys later. Bye, everyone. Peace.